morning YouTube, and welcome to my channel Jules Craft Room. And today is week 3 part 2 of the Halloween blanket from Sada, the Halloween cowl, and we're joining the bits together today. So I've done the bottom of the blanket, which you can see the squares, and I've joined it to the cat panel, and I'm now going to do the top. So just be careful when you're doing it that you get your orientation of your swirls, etc., to get the right way up when you do it. So this will go this way, and you can see the little cats all in a row here, and that's going at the bottom of the blanket. And now I'm going to do the top of the blanket, and it's like that with the pumpkin facing upwards, and the cats are going to go on it like that. So I'll turn you round and we'll join it on. Right, so we've got it laid out how it's roughly going to be. So the cats are standing upright, the faces are this way, and this goes at the top of the blanket. And it says to start off by using your markers, and you should have got some with your cowl, and placing them every 21 stitches along the cat panel. So that's what we're going to do now. So it's a matter of counting. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's a lot easier on the bottom one because obviously you're adding into here, whereas this one is more difficult to see what you're doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So do this as best as you can, and hopefully you'll spread them out. There should be another 21 there, and then we will be ready to try and join. Right, so supposedly I've got 21 in between each of these, and the reason you have 21 is because there are 21 stitches from the second chain at the beginning there to the first chain of that chain space, and that's what's going to fit in between each block. So now we're going to join. So you turn it over like that, and then she suggests using a needle and thread, which you can do, and then what you're doing, you'll be picking up the back loop of this one into the back loop of this one. But personally I prefer to use the crochet hook, so I will be using the crochet hook, but it'll look exactly the same when you turn it over the other way. And I'm using the yellow to join mine because it's the constant colour there. So I like to do a slip knot when I join, and then you really do need good light so you can see the stitches. So we are going into the back. You can see that one there, the back loop. So that's the back loop. So that's the front loop, and I'm going in on the back loop. And then you're finding the back loop of the second chain of the 2 chain space, and you're going into the back loop here, like that. And I'm doing a slip stitch all the way along. And the back loop there, and the back loop of the next stitch. Very hard to see on this black. And then a slip stitch, back loop, and then back loop, slip stitch. And you do this all the way along as best you can, aiming to meet up with this 21st stitch into the back loop of the first chain of this block. So back loop of this one, back loop, back loop, and that's what it should look like. So it'll start looking like that as you go along. Okay, I'll see you when we get to this first square here. Right, so I've got to the first square. There's my marker. So I'm going to be going into here, and this should be the first of the 2 chain at the end there. And then you can take this marker out. And then you continue to work along. So we're now going into this one here. And we're going into the second of the 2 chain here. The back loop there. Like that. And then we're going to work all the way along, and that's going to match there. I'm having to pull it in because this is rather tight here, but there you are, you can see that's what it's starting to look like. So I'm going to carry on, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end, it should look like that. You fasten off and it should look like that. And then it's a matter of weaving in all these ends, tidying it up. I think that goes round that side. So yes, it's a matter of weaving all the ends in and tidying it up, and then you will be done doing the bottom one, which you will join the purple, and that's a lot easier because you can actually see the stitches, whereas this is very fiddly because you're drawing in along the starting chain there. So there we are. And then they're telling you to do the bat wings. So we're going to do the bat wings now. You can see I've done 2 bat wings and I've sewn them on, and these are the ears. And I've got to do the same with this one here. So I'm going to make the bat wings with you to go on this one. Right, so we're going to make the bat wings now and the bat ears. There's a left and a right wing. So there's 2, they're slightly different. So we're going to start with wing 1. So with wing 1, you make a chain of 23, and you're using black, so it's quite difficult to see what you're doing. And you're doing a chain of 23. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's your chain of 23. And your first row, you're going to do 1 double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3. You're doing a double crochet. Like that. So this, at the end here, that doesn't count as a stitch. So you've just done 1 double crochet. And then you're going to do a double crochet into each of the next 9 1, chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you're going to do 3 double crochets into the next chain. So 3 into the same stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to do a double crochet into the last 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's going to look like that. So it's got sort of like a bend in it. And now you're going to start row 2. So you turn, and then row 2 you do a 2 chain. 1, 2. And that 2 chain doesn't count as a stitch. Then you do 11 double crochets, and because that's not counting as stitch, you're going to be doing your first one right down at the bottom here of that 2 chain. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you're going to do 3 double crochets into the next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, all into the same stitch, and then you're going to do 11 double crochets down this side here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to pick that one there. 11. And that's the end of row 2. And it'll look like that. Right, we now rotate. So we're not turning or anything. We rotate the work and we work into the opposite side of the foundation chain. So you do 4 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch into the 4th chain from the hook. So that will be that one there. Slip stitch into there. And then you slip stitch into the first foundation chain, which will be this one down here, which you started with. So you're making a little point to the end of the wing, like that. Right, so next we'll be starting our shells, and we miss 2 chains. That's 1, 2, and we go into the 3rd one. And we're going to do 3 double trebles into that 3rd chain. That's 1, 2, 3. Then you're doing 3 chain, and you're slip stitching into the bottom of that 3 chain, and that sort of makes that sort of knobbly bit, and then you're doing 3 more double trebles into that same chain. One, 2, 3, and then you're going to miss the next 2 chain, so that is 1, 2, and you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd, so that won't be that one there. So it's going to look like that. Then you're going to miss 3 chain, and you're going to do a shell again. So you miss 3 chain, so that will be 1, 2, 3. So you're going to go into this 4th one, which should be the centre of your point there. And you're going to do 3 double treble. Then you're going to do 3 chain. You're going to slip stitch into the bottom of that 3 chain. Then you're going to do 3 more double trebles. That's 1, 2, 3. and then you're going to miss the next 3 chain and slip stitch into it, into the next chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, and you're slip stitching into the 4th, like that. So that's what it should look like so far. And we're going to do one more shell here. So you're missing 2 chain this time, 1, 2, and you're going into the 3rd. And that's 1 double treble, 2 double treble, 3 double treble, then you're doing 3 chain, you're slip stitching into the bottom one, and then you're doing 3 more double trebles into that same stitch. And then you're missing 2, 1, 2, and you're slip stitching into that last stitch. Like that. And then you're going to fasten off. And it says to fasten off with a long tail. I didn't bother because I sewed it in separately, so I just cut it off like that. Right, and now you need to make wing 2, which is slightly different but very similar. And then once you've done that, we'll sew them onto our bat. Right, so wing 2, it's 23 chain again, and the first row you're doing a 1 double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, and you're doing a double crochet. It's very difficult to see what you're doing with this black yarn, so be very careful. So there's your 1 double crochet. And then it says do a double crochet into the next 9 chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you're doing 3 double crochets all into the next chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, all into the same chain. And then you're going to finish by doing 1 double crochet into each of the next 10 chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's the end of our row 1. And then we're going to start row 2. And row 2 is you're turning and you're doing 2 chain. And this doesn't count as a stitch, so now you're going to do 11 double crochets. So you're going to do it into the bottom of that 2 chain because it doesn't count as a stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you're doing 3 double crochets into the next stitch. So that would be 1, 2, 3. And then you're doing 11 double crochets to the end. That's the end of row 2. Right, so now we start next round, which is you rotate your work and you're working down this side, and then you'll be working along the foundation row. So on this side here you are doing 2 double crochets into the end between the 2 rows. So 1 here and 1 here. I'm doing them both into the same space, and that's your 2 double crochets. And then you are going to slip stitch into the first foundation chain. So I'm going to slip stitch into here like that. So you've just sort of gone round the end. And then you're going to start making your shells. So you're going to miss 2 chain. So that'll be 1, 2, and you're going to go into your 3rd one, and you're going to do a double treble. And you're going to do a 2nd double treble all in the same space. And a 3rd double treble. And then you're going to do 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to slip stitch into the bottom of that 3 chain. And you're making this sort of little nodule bit. And then you're going to do 3 more double trebles into that same stitch. And then you're going to miss the next 2 chain. So that's 1, 2, and you're going to slip stitch into the next one. Like that. Then you're going to miss 3 chain. So 1, 2, 3. Which should take you to that middle one. So you're going in the 4th one because you're missing 3, and then you're going to do your 3 double trebles in there. That's 3. Then you're going to do your 3 chain, and then you're going to slip stitch into the bottom of that 3 chain, and then you're going to do 3 more double trebles into the same space as the other 3. Like that. And then you're going to miss 3 chain. So that is 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go into the 4th, and you're going to slip stitch into there. Then you're going to miss 2. That's 1, 2. You're going to go into the 3rd, and you're going to start your 3 double trebles. That's 1, 2, 3. You're going to do your 3 chain, slip stitch into the bottom of that 3 chain, and then you're going to do 3 more double trebles into the same space as the other 3. That's 2, whoops, and it's getting in the way, 3. And then it should be a matter of missing the next 2 chain and slip stitching into the 3rd, like that. Then between the 2 rows here, you need to do a 4 chain. So you do 4 chains, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You slip stitch into the 4th chain from the hook, like that. Then you slip stitch in between the 2 rows. So at the end here, you're slip stitching into there. So you've got a little nodule bit there. And then you're fastening off. They say leave a long tail. I'm not bothering because I'll be sewing on with a needle and thread at the end. And that is your other wing. Sort of got a left and a right wing. That is that way round and that is that way round. And you've got a nodule there, nodule there. And that is the wing of your bats. And now we're going to do the bat ears, and you need to make 4 altogether. I've already done 2, so I'm just going to do 2 more. Right, so I've done 1 ear and I'm going to do 1 with you. And you do 5 chain, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're doing a double treble, and you're doing it into the 4th chain from the hook, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1. That's 1, and then you're doing another double treble into the last chain, like that. So you've got, that's what it should look like. And then you're doing 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to slip stitch into the bottom here. And then you're going to fasten off. Like that. And so that's what it should look like. So you need to make 4 of those. And now we're going to attach the wings and the ears to our circle. I've got one I've done before. So I'm going to do the ears slightly off. They say do about five stitches between them. And then I'm going to do some wings. Wings here, like that, and the other ones like that. So I'm just going to weave in the ends and attach my bat wings. Right, so I'm going to go with roughly about here, and I'm going to sew them on. And then I'm going to do the same with this one over here, and I'll see you when it's finished. Right, so there we have it. That's my green one, the wings and the ears are sewn on, and that's my orange one with the wings and the ears sewn on. So weave in your ends, and then we're going to start with the cat body. Right, so now we're going to do the cat's head and then the body, and that's the one I've already done. And you start off with a magic ring. Right, so with your magic ring you 3 chain, and this counts as a stitch. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to do 11 trebles into the ring, making a total of 12. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you close the magic ring, and then you slip stitch. Right, so now you start round 2, and round 2 you're doing 3 chain, and you're doing 1 treble into that same stitch, so right at the bottom of the, sort of behind it, underneath it, and then you're going to do 2 treble into the next stitch 11 times, so you will have a total of 24 trebles. So that's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then there's the original stitch and the 3 chain, so that makes 24, and then you slip stitch to join them, and it looked like that. And then you start round 3. So round 3 you're doing 3 chain, 2, 3, you're doing a treble into the base of that 3 chain, and then you're doing 1 treble into the next stitch like that, and then you're doing 2 in the next. So 1, 2, 1 in the next, and 2 in the next stitch. And you do that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of round 3 with 36 trebles. Right, so the end of round 3 you should have 36 trebles, and you slip stitch into the top of the first treble, and that's nearly your head done. So round 4 you slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2. Then you do 1 half treble and 1 treble into the next stitch. So it's a half treble and a treble like that. Then you do 1 double treble into the next stitch. So that'd be 1, and then you do 1 treble and a half treble into the next stitch, and this will be a treble and a half treble. So that's your ear. And then you slip stitch into the next 3 stitches. So that will be 1, 2, 3, and then you do a half treble and a treble into the next stitch. So that's the half treble and the treble, both in the same stitch. Then you do a double treble in the next stitch. And a treble in the next stitch and a half treble in the same stitch. And then you slip stitch across the next 11 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then you do a 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3, and that doesn't count as a stitch, and then you do a treble into each of the next 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you turn, and then we're going to start the body. Right, so we finished the row of 5 trebles on the neck, and then we're turning. So this is the reverse side of the head, and we're now going to continue with the body. So row 1 of the body, you 2 chain. This does not count as a stitch. You then do 2 trebles into the stitch on which the 2 chain stands. So 2 trebles into that stitch there. That's 1, 2. And then you do a treble into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, right, 3, and then 2 trebles into the next stitch. There's 1, 2, and that'll give you 7 trebles, and then you'll turn. And you'll do round or row 2. Row 2, you do 2 chain. Then you do 2 trebles into which this stands, because this 2 chain doesn't count. So 1, 2, and then you're doing a treble into each of the next 5 trebles. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you'll do 2 trebles into the last stitch. 1, 2, and that'll give you 9 trebles. And then you turn again, and you start row 3. Row 3 is 2 chain, 2 trebles into the base of that 2 chain, 1, 2, and then you do in 1 treble into each of the next 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're doing 2 trebles into the last stitch. That's 1, 2, and then you'll have 11 trebles. And you carry on with that sequence for row 4, where you'll end up with 13 trebles. So I'll see you at the end of row 4. Right, so at the end of row 4, you would have done your 2 trebles in the beginning, then you would have done your 9 trebles and your 2 into the last stitch, giving you a total of 13 trebles. And then you turn, and row 5 you do 2 chain and you do 1 treble into the stitch below the 2 chain, and then you do a treble into each stitch to the end, so you'll still have the same 13 trebles. And I'll see you at the end of row 5. Right, so the end of row 5 you've got your 13 trebles, you turn, and row 6 you're increasing again, so you're doing 2 chain, you're doing 2 trebles into the base of that 2 chain, like that, and then you are doing a treble into each of the next 11 trebles, and then you are doing 2 trebles into the last stitch, so that will give you a total of 15 trebles. So I'll see you at the end of row 6. Right, so at the end of row 6 you've got 15 trebles, you turn, and then row 7 and 8 you just will be doing a treble in each of the trebles. So you will still have 15 trebles. So rows 7 and 8 you do a treble in each stitch and you have 15 trebles. So I'll see you back for row 9. So once you finish rows 7 and 8, row 9 you're turning and you're doing a 2 chain, and then you are going to treble 2 together. So you start the first treble through the first 2 loops, then before finishing it off you then start it again, you go into the next stitch, pull through, go through 2 loops, you've then got 3 on your hook and you go through all 3, and that has put your 2 stitches together making 1 stitch, so that is your decrease. And then you'll do 1 treble into each of the next 11 stitches, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then you will do another 2 trebles together. So that's the first treble, and then before finishing it you put the loop round again and you go into the next stitch, through 2, 3 on the hook, and then pull through, and that should give you 13 trebles. So now you turn, and row 10 you're doing 2 chain, you're doing 2 trebles together again, and then you're going to treble in the next 9 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you do 2 together. So there's that 2, and then pull through that 2, and then pull through all 3. And that's your decreasing. Right, so then you fasten off, and then you're going to edge it. So with right side facing, you're going to attach the yarn to the first stitch at the top of the left hand side of the neck. So that'll be this one here, this one here, like that, and you're going to slip stitch around the left side edge of the body and the lower edge, ending at the right hand side corner lower edge. Then you're going to make 42 chain. So we're going to slip stitch along here. All the way around. And we're going to go all the way around, and we're going to meet up at that corner here. Right, so once you have slip stitched from here all the way round to this end here, the right side at the bottom, you do your 42 chain. And then you're going to do a half treble in the second chain from the hook. So that's 1, that's the second, and you're doing a half treble in there. And then you're going to do a half treble into each chain to the end. So all the way along what is the tail. Like that. Okay, so I'll see you at the end of the tail. Right, so when you get to the end of the tail, you need to slip stitch back into the side here, and then you need to continue to slip stitch all the way around here, round the ears, back down to where you started your slip stitch, so the cat is completely edged. And I'll see you at the end here. Right, so once you've gone all the way around and you got back to where you started, you then fasten it off, and then you need to sew your cat onto your square. So the cat will go like that. I think they're on an angle. And the tail will go like that. So you need to sew in these ends and then sew the tail and the cat down onto the square like in the picture. Right, so once you've decided where you're putting it, then you need to stitch it down, and I'm just doing a running stitch all the way round. So carry on doing your running stitch all the way round and then up through the tail, and I'll see you when you've sewn both your cats on. Right, so for the eye it says to do straight stitch, so let's give it a go. Looks like, so following the picture of the pattern that goes into there. And it's just sort of some white highlights. Right, so I've done the eyes, and it was just a matter of doing some long stitches around the eyes and trying to hide it as best as possible on the back. And then we did these sort of white stitches here and here just to give it sort of a highlights on the eyes. And then these are the veins. So I've done those. And then the skull you do as shown on the pattern, which I'll show you in a minute. And then I've just stitched here for the mouth and the nose. So we'll quickly do an eye. So it's just a matter of doing a magic ring. Like that. And then you're doing 3 double crochet into the magic ring. That's 1, 2, 3. Then you're doing a half treble, then 1 treble and 1 double treble. Then you're doing a 1 chain and then another double treble, another treble, and another half treble, and that's it. And then you're pulling the magic ring, closing it, and you're slip stitching onto that first double crochet, and you make 2 of those for each eye, for each skull, so that'll be 8 altogether. And then that will go, that's what goes there. So, and then it's the pumpkin square. For the pumpkin squares, we have to make 10 of these eyes. And you do a magic ring, so like that. And then your round is 1 chain, 3 double crochets, so 1 chain, 3 double crochets, that's 1, 2, 3, 2 chain, 1, 2, 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 chain, and another 4 double crochets. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you draw in the magic ring. Try not to get it twisted. And slip stitch into the first one. And it does actually look a bit like a triangle, which is what it's meant to look like. So you do another 9 of those, and then you sew them onto the pumpkin as shown in the picture. And two bits of thread, so double threaded. You embroider a zigzag effect for the mouth using 2 threads at the same time, and then that will be the pumpkin finished. Right, so there's my pumpkin done. Not too bad, I think. Skeleton and the eyeball. So you just need to do that on all the different ones throughout the blanket, and then we can start week 4. So I'm going to go and finish that off, and I'll see you next time for week 4. Bye for now.